Hello, welcome to episode 2 of Am I Wrong? So to start with, I think we all went through the educational system. At least I hope we all did, because education is important. But at the same time, education is not just done in school. But yes, going to school gives us a proof that we are educated, I guess. When I'm saying educational system, I'm referring to Mauritius, just Mauritius. But if in whatever country you are, the educational system is like that, I mean, maybe it makes sense, but I'm mostly talking about Mauritius. This video is not about the educational system though, but I just want to touch on that a little bit before going to the thing that I actually want to talk about. When we turn 3, all of us, we start going to pre-primary school. Yeah, we start there and it keeps going. But the whole point of going to school is to prepare ourselves for the future, for the real world. And that's the whole point we go to school. And to also like keep going forward. Schools, they batch educate people, kids, from a small age. And the problem with batch educating is that we're assuming that every single student learns the same way, assuming that everyone is receiving the information the same way. And that is one of the problems with schools, I would say, and that probably doesn't just apply to Mauritius, but a lot more countries, that we batch educate. And that is crazy because we are all so different in the way we learn. Everyone's level of understanding is not the same. When the teacher is saying something, some kids understand it really quick. Some kids need more information to understand it. Come on, in the real world, like me and you, if you're an adult, like when you talk to someone, they don't necessarily receive it the way you are delivering it. And we are assuming that when a teacher says something, all of the students receive it the same way. That is absurd to even assume. We all don't have the same grasping ability, but the system doesn't have room for all that, which is sad and a little bit unfair. And to think that kids of 7, 9, 10-year-olds have to go through that, where they're different and their needs are not met, kind of, because they probably want to learn, but they can't, because you're not giving them the tools and their instructions that they need to understand. So, you're giving them what you want to give them or what the system says to give them, and they don't understand, and they're like, why am I different? Because come on, at that age, right, you just want to fit in. You just want to belong, right? You don't want to be the one who stands out. You don't want to be the one who's different. You want to be the same. And when things like that make you feel like you don't belong, it's a lot for a kid to take. That is what I'm saying. Like, all of these things sometimes cause trauma. See, I think of it that way, like some kids are just lucky because the way the system is okay for them. Like, they can cope with that, they can work with that. So it's great. The thing is, school basically favors one type of learning and it's not suitable for everyone. And also society is failing them. I am coming to that because, see, to change the system, I'm not going to do it on this video. You might see me doing that someday, but right now it's not what I'm doing. I'm not trying to change the system. I'm just saying that the system is flawed and most of us know it. I don't know why we don't talk about it, but the system is flawed. All right, but in the meantime, can we just not add on that? Can we be kind instead of being like the system and being unfair? Because it's a lot already. And there is a lot of bullying that happens because of that. When I was in school, I remember kids being laughed at, being bullied because they're different, because more than half of the class is getting it, is understanding what is being explained, but there is a small group of students who don't understand. And that group of students, they were laughed at. let's be humans. Let's have some compassion and love. And one of the things is also like the world today is so different from what it was 10 years ago. But the school system hasn't changed in such a long time. The same subjects, the same things are being learned. So, like I said before starting this whole series, I am going to talk about topics that I've personally experienced or things that I see around me that I don't see people talk about. Maybe people do, but I don't see it. And at least I don't see it the way I probably wish it was talked about. I know someone who has been going through a lot because of the system. And that person, I mean, I personally saw the person go through that. They told me I can talk about them in this video, and they actually even told me that I could use their name, but I decided not to use their name because it's their story, and I am just focusing on one aspect in this video. But their story is not about just this one aspect. Their story has a lot more, and I feel like I can't do that. So someday maybe the person will be on the channel talking about it, talking about their experience and their story. That person is one of the bravest person that I know, and I am so proud to see their growth despite all of this. So basically that person failed 6th standard. Okay, so 6th standard is 11 years old, I think. It was a lot for the kid first, for the parents, but mostly for the kid, because they felt kind of like, basically like their whole world just crumbled. When their result came out, some people called to ask for the result. The people that called to ask, they don't even know the kid. They know the kid because of the parents, but they never actually had a conversation with the kid. But they felt like they could call and ask. And for the kid to hear all of that, you know, parents are being like, oh, you know, she failed, is like reminding them that they failed. So then, you know, people started to kind of laugh in the sense of like being like, oh my god, how can you fail 6th standard? Yeah, that is just not funny. I don't understand why people laugh at things like that, but anyways, people started saying things like that, and I spoke to, like I said, the student that went through that, and they said that they don't even remember that happening, because at that age, which is crazy to me, you know, at that age when that happened, they just closed off. They became numb to everything, right? Because they were hurting so much that they decided to just close themselves. But at the same time, I spoke to their parents as well, and their parents said that when people left out their kid, they were very heartbroken. It pained them a lot because they could see what the kid was doing to succeed. They were trying really hard, but they could not, because it was too little time for them to catch up with so much information, because their brain could not just go that fast. And now people are laughing at them like as if they didn't do enough, like as if they don't take it seriously enough. But that wasn't the case. I know that in some cases that could be, like there are kids who don't take it seriously and stuff, but there are kids who do take it seriously, but they just needed more help. They needed more time sometimes. So yeah, it was a lot. But one amazing thing that I think their parents did is they dealt with the problem. They started to see why. They did tests and stuff. And please, Also, I want to say here, if your kid or if any kid, you can see that they're not able to do something, try to see why. Try to be specific with what they're having difficulty doing and try to deal with that specific thing. So their parents brought them to like evaluate and see if there is anything that they need help with. Right, and they found this school that, again, I think I will let that person talk about it when they tell their story. But if you're someone who is in that situation and you are looking for something like that, feel free to DM me or reach out to me. But yeah, they found this school where like more personal attention was given to kids. The kid hated school at that point, because for the first time in their lives they have all of these problems and people laughing at them. They see their parents crying and their friends going forward and they're not able to talk to them because they don't know how to tell them that they failed, and like they don't want to talk to anyone about this, right? And all of this was because of the school, was because of education for them in their head. So they did not want to go back. Even though this school was basically a blessing to them, they could not see that, because for them it's just another school where people are going to say that they are less, where people are going to say you are worthless, you nothing can be done with you, you're gonna fail again, you know. But they went there and the school kind of tested them to see what their understanding is, where they are in the academic system. And they evaluated that, and instead of putting back in 6th standard, they decided to put in a lower class so they could give them a good foundation, which I think is amazing what they did. And they passed their 6th standard on 2nd attempt, and they joined a secondary school. But all of this trauma that happened before had a lot of impact on them. For example, they have like anxiety meeting new people, going to a new place, because for them meeting new people is like they're going to ask me so many questions and maybe they're going to judge me, and I have to go through all of this negative experience again, you know, like people laughing and judging. See, like I said, they were 11 years old, but then when they went to the other school, they did other classes before 6th, so their age was rising. When they started going to secondary school, they were a lot older than all of the kids, right? And like they had to keep putting up with questions and judgments ever since they were 11 years old, and it's still going. It's still the same. People still ask the same things and judge. So my point is, their life is hard on a daily basis because of that impact. And this is one person I'm talking about, one experience. There are so many. The thing is, you know, nowadays, without a Form 5 school certificate, you can't really do any course or get a job. So if you want to be, I don't know, a chef, and you have passion for it and actually can cook well, and you want to be a chef, let's say, and you are one of these students who the school doesn't favor, who learns in a way that school doesn't teach, you still have to go through school system at least till Form 5 or Form 3, because Form 3 then you have options to go to other institutions. So you have to go to at least Form 3 or Form 5 depending, to be able to pursue what you want to do, right? So like all this time they feel stuck, depressed, going back to a place where they're laughed at and bullied, and also there is a time, like a age limit when you can be in the school. So what if you don't get to Form 5 on time? What if you don't get there? What then? Then you have to just like forget about the dream and just whatever. They don't deserve that. It's just sad. It's like really sad. And the thing is, the trauma doesn't just stop at the kid. Even the parents go through that. There is something I don't understand with people. Why don't you have boundaries when you talk? That's a question for everyone. Why don't you have boundaries when you talk? There are people who are like, who come and ask for your result, and when you say, they'll be like, oh, that's good, my kid got 5 A+. Like, I understand that you're happy about your kid's result, which is great, but sometimes you don't have to give details. You can just be like, they passed, you know, but it's unnecessary to give details, honestly. Because I remember when I was in school, I wouldn't say I was like top, but I was good, you know. But I always felt like I was worse because, you know, the other parents would be like, my kid got no, and I'd be like, shit, I didn't get that, so like I'm shit, you know. But no, now when I think about it, I'm like, why the heck was I upset about that? Why the heck did I cry for a week because of that result? I should have been happy. I should have celebrated that. But no, I didn't celebrate. I was crying for weeks. It's good to be happy for your kid, but I'm just saying it's really unnecessary to give details. And it's really unnecessary to ask for details when you ask for someone's result. First of all, if you're not close to the person, don't ask. But if you're very close, you can ask, but don't ask for details. If they pass, they pass. Don't go deeper than that. Why? And either way, even if they passed or they failed, you should have something good to say. Like, be encouraging, believe in them, you know, instead of just dragging them down. A lot of times it's not their fault that this is happening. Maybe they just needed a little bit more time to catch up. That's all. But they didn't get that time because there is a time frame, and for some students it's just not enough. They need more time. That's fine. Have some compassion, you know, because it's good if your kid has passed successfully. There is no need to gloat about that. You can be happy, you can celebrate it, do celebrate it actually. And the same thing goes for people who love comparing. Why? Every person is different. I keep saying that so many times. Even in my previous videos, probably I said that people are different. Don't compare. Don't be like, oh, if you have 2 kids, don't compare the 2 kids. Every kid, everyone should do their best. That's all. And honestly, 6th standard and stuff, you just need to pass and get ahead. Alright, it doesn't really make a difference. HSE, I would say, does make a difference because if you want certain things, then, you know, there is certain requirements. But 6th standard, Form 2, Form 3 even, you just need to pass and get ahead. That's it. You don't have to like drain everything you have to get the best of the best. You have to do your best. Your kid, tell them to do their best. Do the best you can. That's it. Don't be like, do like your cousin. Your cousin got 6 A+. You have to get 6 A+ too. Don't put pressure like that on kids. That's unnecessary. Tell them to do their best. Tell them you believe in them. Tell them that you're here for them. Tell them you love them. Don't compare. Some people think it's you know, comparing means I am motivating them. You know, no, you're not. Comparing does so much harm than good. Comparing someone to someone else is never good. If you're a student who is going through this, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that this world likes to say what is normal and what is okay to laugh at. And in this case, what's normal is finishing 6th standard when you're 11 years old, Form 3 when you're 14 years old, Form 5 when you're 16 years old, high school certificate when you're 18 years old. This is what is expected. Fuck that. Make your own way. Carve it. Do it your way. Do your best every time. Your best. And if it doesn't work out, so what? Get back up, sit and reflect. Reflect on what went wrong. What is it that got me this? What is it that did not work? Try to understand. Understand you. Know yourself. Find out what options you have. How can you make it work? Find options, find solutions. Understand what went wrong and see if someone can help you with that. But either way, you are so valuable, okay? You're not less than any of us. You are important and you can do it. It's not impossible. Maybe you need a little bit more time to do it. It's fine. Take it. Take the time you need. But you can. I believe in you. I know it's hard for you to believe in yourself going through that if you are in that situation right now. But I do believe in you even now. And I hope you find the strength and the courage to keep moving forward. If you don't, then come to me. I'll help you find it. I will hold you until you can get the strength to get up and try again. Because you know what? You're not alone. There are so many of us who's with you. And also, that makes me think that person I've been talking about right now has people around them who believes in them so much. They're so proud of them, and they've come across some teachers who are here to help in any way they can to help them push. And honestly, when I see that, I start having hope for humanity again. I'm like, yes, you know, these people are everything. You know, these people just make me so happy that I could cry. They were like, tell me what I can do more, because they're so proud that the person, even though they went through all of that, they're still pushing, they're still working, they're still trying to get there, to build their life, to do what they want to do. They're pushing every day. That's why at the start of this video I said that person is one of the bravest person I know, because through all of that, and I also said that the impact of that trauma is still here today. They're still living it on a daily basis in different ways, but still they have not given up. So if you are watching this and you are going through that, or if you know someone who's going through that, don't give up. You can do everything. Maybe not in the way society expects it, not when society expects it, but you can. And honestly, I honestly believe that when I'm saying it. It's not impossible. Maybe you need some help. That's why I said reflect on what went wrong. And don't be afraid to take tests that you can take to evaluate. I don't know how it's called. And there's nothing wrong in that. There is no shame in going to get evaluated for things like that. It's actually, for me, I think it's great that we have options like that. You can go and evaluate and see where the problem is and deal with the problem at its root. Because sometimes that makes a huge difference. When you deal with the root of the problem, everything else kind of gets smooth. And also, again, if you know anyone who is going through things like that, struggling a lot with studies, try to find what they're struggling with. Try to find exactly what it is and see if there are people who can help with that. Because there are so many people, experts and all of that, who are specialized in certain things that help with studies, which could be great for you. You know, like, look at your options, see what you have, what help you can get, and all of that. There is no shame in that. Seek help when help is needed. There's nothing wrong in needing help. Even I sometimes seek help because I need someone who can like work with me for me to move forward in certain things. And it's great that we have that, I think. Don't just expect a child or a student to just do it. Sometimes it's not as simple as just do it. Sometimes they probably do need certain help. And all of these things that's happening, if you have failed a class or in a subject, that doesn't define you. All right, it doesn't define you. It doesn't even define your whole life. For me, when I see that person, for them, you know, because they've gone through that and they didn't know how to deal with it as well. For the longest time, they thought that these failures defined them. They've felt like that. But me, when I see them, I see strength. I see bravery. I see so many good things. I don't see the failure, or I don't see them as, oh, you failed classes. No, for me it's like, wow, you did it and you're still doing it. It is such an inspiration, and there are so many people who see you as an inspiration, trust me. So don't ever think that this defines you. And I love you, all right? That this is coming from my heart. I love you. And I am sending so many love and positivity and all good things your way through this video. I wish so many good things for you, okay? Don't lose hope. It's gonna be fine, all right? Don't lose hope. You're not alone. I'm here. If you think there's no one around you who's there for you, approach me. I'm here. I will be there for you, okay? And again, if you're a parent or, I don't know, grandparents or sisters, siblings, try to understand them. Honestly, this might look cringy or whatever, but I really feel a lot for students who struggle a lot. And also, I recently shared something on Facebook and on my Instagram, maybe last month, I'm not sure. But I talked about how a teacher was very insensitive to a kid who was having an anxiety attack. And again, that was based on a real life experience. Again, I want to say, like I said before, that student I was talking about, they came across amazing teachers who are helping them not only in studies, but also like giving them, like believing in them, you know. And when they see the teachers believing in them so much, their self-confidence is building up little by little too. Because when all of this happened, their self-confidence was basically not there anymore. So that's why, you know, when that happened and that teacher was very insensitive to the kid, I got very angry and I wrote that, and I don't take anything back. But I do understand being a teacher. I think for me is such an amazing job, you know. I know a lot of teachers who are so great and so considerate and so aware of so many things, you know. They actually love their job and they love the kids, you know, and they want them to succeed. But there are teachers who have frustrations and they take it out on kids as well. I'm not talking about you yelling at a kid because of their behavior. That is probably understandable depending on the situation. But when I wrote that, I was talking about students struggling with studies. When you see a student struggling with studies in your class, you don't humiliate them in front of everyone, is what I'm saying. Because a lot of students, most students in that class probably see you as a role model, and when you humiliate them and they're all laughing with you, they will humiliate the kid outside of the class as well. Because when I put the post up, a lot of teachers were like, yeah, but you know, there are some kids who are, I understand being a teacher is also very hard because you have to, you know, deal with so many kids at the same time, which is crazy to me. You know, sometimes with one kid, it's like chaos. I sometimes wonder how teachers are not losing their minds. I understand all that, but I'm just saying that when a student is struggling with studies, try to understand where it's coming from and don't just humiliate them in front of everyone, because if they're having a panic attack already, it could be because of bullying and stuff. I think that was all that I had to say.